Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. Arsenal start 2019 in fine fashion with a convincing win over Fulham. How did they do it? Where did Fulham go wrong? Don't worry, here at the interviews, we've got you covered. So on this edition of the interviews, we're going to briefly break down how Arsenal destroyed Fulham. So before we get into today's video, don't forget to give our video a thumbs up if you do enjoy it. The bell below does give you daily notifications regarding our organic, unfiltered soccer/footy analysis. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel. In today's video, we're going to break down the first half, see how both sides look to approach the game and how they got their advantages. Then move to the second half, see what tactical change Arsenal made, how Fulham were able to fight back, and then how Arsenal were able to kill it off. But first, let's look at the starting lineups. We look at Arsenal 3-4-3, Iwobi, Aubameyang, and Lacazette up front. Out in the wider areas, they went Kolasinac and they went Maitland-Niles, and in midfield they went with Xhaka and Guendouzi. Then we moved to Fulham 3-4-3 without the ball, more of a 5-4-1. Sessegnon, and they went with Mitrovic and Schürrle up front. Out in the wingback areas, Christie and Bryan, and in midfield, Cisse and Kearney. So now let's get to the first half and see how both sides look to approach the game and see who had the advantage in that first half. So when we look at Arsenal-Fulham in the first half, 3-4-3 against 3-4-3, basically when you break it down, there's a good chance that there could be two sides canceling each other out because man v man, they're able to mark each other out of the game. As you can see, the front three press the back three, the midfielders have the midfielders, the wingbacks have the wingbacks, and then vice versa with the back three against the front three. That's how we saw it here in the earlier stages. Sure, Fulham and Arsenal press in different ways. Arsenal obviously had the front three that could look to close down as well, and they had the pace to break in behind, and we saw the front three interchange throughout. But the difference between Arsenal and Fulham here was that Arsenal were able, with quick combination plays, to pull Fulham out of position. They're not a great defensive side as a unit, and their back three to back five isn't really great either. So when you think about it, Arsenal were going to create chance, and we look at the opening stages, it came very simple in various manners. The first shot they do get, it's a Doy stepping out and playing a pass into Kearney, but Xhaka is able to step into him. The ball ends up falling to Lacazette, and he runs at a Doy, but is taken out, but Xhaka is able to pick up the ball and slide it out to Iwobi, which forces Le Marchand out into that space, and he's able to get time to deliver across into the box for Aubameyang looking to run across Ream, but he's able to push him off enough that Aubameyang can only sky his effort inches over the net. You see that, and you see that just by pressing and the way that they try to play out of the back, they need to be sharp and they need to ensure that their midfielders have enough time to control the ball and move forward. That wasn't the case there. When we look to another opportunity here, it stems from Fulham trying to press out of the back. It's Sessegnon and it's Doy pressing from the front, or Sessegnon and Christie trying to close down Kolasinac in that space. And what happens there is that when they try to close down Kolasinac, they don't do a very good job, and they leave a gap in that central zone for Koscielny to push forward. Koscielny now gets the ball. He's able to look forward, and what happens here is very interesting because we see Lacazette drop off, and he pulls out Le Marchand, and he drops it off to Iwobi, who pulled out a Doy. And when he pulls out a Doy, what happens there is there's so much space in the midfield and in that final third to play the pass into Aubameyang. But again, Ream tracked it very well, and although the pass wasn't that great, he was able to really get across to ensure that Aubameyang was unable to get on the ball. When we look to the build up to the goal, it's something similar as well. But the thing here is that Fulham switch off, and that was one of their problems throughout. It's a lack of quality, is a poor coaching, is the fact that the players aren't up for it. Who knows? But it was a very poor opportunity to give away. You see from the opening stages, it's Koscielny who plays the first ball, and he's closed down by Sessegnon, and he plays it into Xhaka, who is also closed down, but he slides it out wide to Kolasinac. What happens here is that Kolasinac is free at half because Iwobi's holding the touch line, and Christie doesn't want to step forward to Kolasinac to leave a Doy with Iwobi. So he allows Kolasinac to push forward. He drives all the way towards the box before sliding it out to Iwobi, and Iwobi now in a 1v2 is still able to deliver a cross into the box. What we end up seeing here is that Xhaka is able to make the run into the box We have Lacazette holding off Le Marchand, and Xhaka is able to run off Christie. No one picks him up, crosses delivered into the box. He's able to pick it up and then fire a shot past the keeper. 1-0 Arsenal. They created enough chances in various ways. So when we look to their next opportunity, it stems from a throw-in. Kolasinac throwing it into Iwobi, who's able to hold off Odoi, and eventually we see Le Marchand end up coming towards him, and he's able to backheel the ball into Kolasinac, who's able to drive forward, and what we do see is Xhaka again breaking into space in the box in behind Cisse. The pullback falls to him, but Sergio Rico makes a fine save to deny him from point blank range. But again, we're seeing it. Iwobi's combination with Kolasinac, Fulham not doing good down the right hand side, Xhaka breaking into the box. That was a big warning sign for them. The final two chances that we do highlight stem from Lacazette pulling out into the left channel, and that is with a combination with Koscielny. The first time that it does happen, what we do end up seeing is the fact that Iwobi drags Odoi out of position, Christie's high, and Koscielny's able to lob the ball into Lacazette breaking into that channel. What happens here now is that we see Iwobi break, and he's able to square the ball to Iwobi, who's now ahead of Le Marchand, and he cuts back to the left, and he delivers another cross into the box for who we have Aubameyang running off Ream, but he nods his effort inches wide of the front post. But again, we're seeing what Arsenal are trying to do. Iwobi pulls out, Lacazette switches out to the left. You get Aubameyang isolated in the box, but not enough there, just inches wide. The final opportunity, it sees Lacazette now hold more to the touchline, and again, it's Koscielny clipping the ball out to him. And what we do see is Xhaka breaking towards that space. With Xhaka breaking towards that space, the ball is squared into him, and he's able to hold off Le Marchand and nod the ball into the path of Lacazette breaking forward, was able to skip past Christie, who did close him down, and then run off Le Marchand, but Sergio Rico again denied him. But you break down the first half as a whole for Arsenal, they got the goal, they were finding combinations, and they were able to bypass Fulham in simple and various ways. But we have to also look at Fulham, who did create chances and possibly should have went up 1-0 before Arsenal had scored. So now let's look to Fulham's chances and see how they're able to bypass Arsenal's defense with ease. So when we look to Fulham's opportunities, what they did do well is they did try to press from the front. They try to close down as quickly as possible. There were times where they did slack, and as you could see in the earlier clip, Arsenal were able to bypass them. But what they did do very well was that they didn't solely rely on Mitrovic. Yes, they could play long balls into him. He did do a good job of dropping off and ensuring that Socrates, Mustafi, or Koscielny did force him into a foul. If not, he was linking play. There was one opportunity where you had Brian's long throw, and you got to see him pull out his marker, and he was able to chest it down into Tyrrell, who ran across him, and was able to volley an effort over the net. But that just goes to show what Mitrovic can offer. But a lot of Fulham's best chances stem through Kearney and the fact that he was able to find space in that midfield. We look to the first opportunity, Odoi able to step past Iwobi, who didn't close him down well. And instantly when that happens, what we do see is the Arsenal midfield look to step out, and they're looking to close down Kearney and Cisse to ensure that they don't get on the ball. What they don't notice is that you see Kearney make that run in between them. So he makes that run into between them, and they're still looking to engage Odoi, the ball carrier. So what happens here? Socrates, as Mitrovic moves out, we see Schürrle drag out Socrates. The ball is played in between the Arsenal midfield, and he instantly Schürrle links with Kearney. Now what we do have is Sessegnon looking to run off Koscielny, and the ball is played there because Socrates pulled out, and he's able to break free on goal, but Sessegnon flashes a shot inches wide of the net. That's a chance that you have to take, or at the very minimum hit on target, and he was unable to do that. Wasted opportunity for Fulham, should have been up 1-0. When we look to another opportunity from a clearance out of from a Maitland-Niles cross, what happens here is that we see Schürrle drop off, and instantly as he drops off, who closes him down? Guendouzi closes him down. What he's able to do is he's able to wrap his pass around Guendouzi for Cisse, who is now close by Xhaka. Mitrovic now drops off a bit deeper, and he pulls out a marker. Ball played into him, and who does he lay it off to? Kearney. Kearney is free because you already see Xhaka and Guendouzi step into challenges that they don't need to step into. He's able to drive forward now, slide the ball out wide to Sessegnon, who runs at Koscielny but waits for Christie on the overlap. Their counterattack was too slow. The overlap eventually comes, but Koscielny is able to block the cross because they took too long, didn't counter with pace, and again, another wasted opportunity where they had a numerical advantage and didn't make the most of it. The The final opportunity again stems from Kearney getting the ball in midfield. He's able to slide the ball wide to Tyrrell freely, who's closed down by Maitland-Niles. But what happens here is that Maitland-Niles doesn't prevent the cross from going into the box. Tyrrell is able to wrap the cross around the Arsenal back five. Sessegnon breaks ahead of Kolasinac to get into a great space with no one on him, but he flashes his shot wide. He doesn't even make any contact with it. And that, again, two great opportunities for Sessegnon. Mitrovic had an opportunity where, again, long ball played into him. Eventually, the cross flew to Brian, breaking into the box, pulled it back for Mitrovic. Not as a 6-yard effort, tamely at Leno. So we look at Fulham. Yes, defensively, they weren't good. When they pressed, when they did do it as a unit, they forced Arsenal to some errors. Arsenal had no issues for Kearney in midfield, and they were able to push Sessegnon in behind. But again, just not enough from them. And when they got into good areas, they didn't make the most of it. And at this level, you have to do that. So now let's get to the second half, see how Fulham were able to fight back and what tactical changes Arsenal made to cope with Kearney. So the second half saw Arsenal move to a 4-3-3 with Tyrrell moving into the midfield, Mustafi being replaced. What this did help Arsenal with was that they could still have the front three moving forward. They had a numerical advantage in midfield, so they could have Tyrrell and Jacques and Guendouzi push out to Cisse and Kearney, and if they needed runners, if they needed a presence in that midfield in Xhaka, he could ensure that Tyrrell doesn't cut in and that Mitrovic doesn't have an option to drop off and link play. If the ball moved out to the wider areas in the wing backs, they could push a player forward and then still have enough numbers in midfield. And if it went the other way, they could push another shuttler out there and then still have enough numbers in midfield. Arsenal didn't really create many chances in those opening 10 minutes based on the fact that a lot of the time when they try to play down the left-hand side, which they did do well in the first half, Kolasinac and Iwobi's combination wasn't working well based on the fact that Iwobi often got the wrong angle or overhit the ball, and it wasn't put into good positions for Kolasinac to overlap, and you can see the frustration from the left back there. Their goal did stem from a throw-in where it was Aubameyang and Kolasinac combining. Kearney and Christie came over, and after some quick passes, they were able to play it into Iwobi, who was able to hold off Odoi. So the pass was played into him. You instantly see Aubameyang run off Christie. You see Kolasinac run off Kearney. Ball played around Odoi for Aubameyang. You see Lamarchand come across. He's able to cut in on Lamarchand and play the ball between his legs for Kolasinac, breaking into that left half space. Then you see the pullback for Aubameyang. For Lacazette, free on goal, able to fire his effort past the keeper. 2-0, great goal. Goes to show that Arsenal, with some quick combinations, were able to bypass Fulham. Great example there. When we look to another opportunity, a poor Tyrrell touch falls to Xhaka, and who is it? It's Lacazette spinning off the back three. He's able to break in free on goal, but Sergio Rico makes a quality save to ensure that Arsenal don't build on their lead. That saw Fulham make some changes. Fosu-Mensah moved to right wing back. They brought on Seri and Kamara, and eventually we saw a bit of a change. Within the opening stages, you see Seri just skipping past Guendouzi in midfield, and what happens there is that he slides it out to Fosu-Mensah. Now you have Kolasinac and Koscielny looking to retreat, but Kamara makes that run into that space there. He makes that run and he holds up the ball, pulls it back to Seri, and what we see is Seri locate Mitrovic running in between Maitland-Niles and Socrates to nod his effort on goal. It was a good chance. It goes to show what those two offer. Seri's ability to pick a pass, Kamara willing to run into the channels using his power and his pace. We see the build up to the goal. Tyrrell dispossessed in midfield by who else? Seri. He drives forward, plays it into Kearney, gets the ball back, and what happens there is that Maitland-Niles and you have Socrates watching. You have the overlap from Sessegnon. Koscielny is occupied by Mitrovic, and the ball is played into the box. Kamara runs off Kolasinac, no Guendouzi, none of them pick him up. He's able to tap his effort into the net. And as we see, they continue to create those chances. Kamara breaking forward. We look at one opportunity, ball played out to Koscielny. Koscielny is closed down by Kamara. He plays it out wide to Kolasinac. Fosu-Mensah steps to him. He plays it to Iwobi. Odoi steps, dispossesses him, instantly clips the ball into that channel for Kamara breaking in. Unfortunately for Kamara, Kamara delivers his cross for Mitrovic, but Leno is able to catch it and stop the danger. You had Lacazette dispossessed by Ream. You have Sessegnon breaking forward, locates Mitrovic, who plays it back to Kamara, tries to clip it over Maitland-Niles for Sessegnon, but it's overhit. But you're seeing the threat that they do offer. Arsenal eventually bring on Aaron Ramsey, another midfielder. Whether it was a 4-3-3 or they had him at the tip of the diamond, we're unsure because they quickly scored after that, which killed the game off. And what happened there was that just simple switch off. Ball played out into that right-hand side. Guendouzi has it. He's closed on by fosu-mensah. Seri's there with Kolasinac. He switches off and the ball around Mensah falls to Kolasinac. Seri notices late, tries to close, but the cross into the box for Aubameyang breaking in, sees Brian guided off the post. Ramsey's in the right place at the right time, fires a shot into the top corner. Aubameyang eventually had another good opportunity, then scored the goal to ensure that Arsenal won 4-1. But now when we look at it, this has been the template of Arsenal's season under Emery, at home, playing not to their best, creating enough chances, conceding a lot of chances, but being able to finish off the game. And it looks like they may need to bring in more players eventually if they're going to take it to the next level. But let me know what you guys think. Will Arsenal finish in the top 4? Should they be worried about Manchester United? And what about Fulham? Based off this performance, do you think they could stay up in the Premier League this season? Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget I upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.